Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Sports Journals. And look who just showed up right on time.
There he is. What's up, Jay?
Let me get my audio together. I apologize, guys. Just have little issues.
All good, man. We just are getting started. We just went live, so get yourself situated. Josh is going to do his little introduction for us, and then we'll get going.
Okay, so I get put in charge of the ship again, huh?
Oh, yeah, you already knew that. You're the captain.
I'm the captain now.
Yes, you are.
So I guess this is our introduction to the Sports Journals.
We're calling this our post-Super Bowl show. So yeah. We're going to kick off the hour by talking about the Super Bowl. Me and Jay were right. The Rams won the Super Bowl. Josh finally, the Bengals finally lost, ran out of juice on you, man.
Yeah. I just want to clarify, I am not actually a Cincinnati Bengals fan. Although
that's too late for that.
It's been questionable, man. The past week or two, I've been starting to wonder.
I'm not. But I will say this: out of all three teams in the AFC North, I have the least amount of problems with them. With the Bengals.
Yeah, I feel that. I agree with that.
I'm indifferent about Cincinnati. I don't dislike them. But I don't necessarily like them either.
Right.
Whereas like Baltimore, Pittsburgh, I do hate them. But Baltimore, I really hate them. Like, Bryan, you and I are never going to agree on. So I'm not even going to bring it up.
Nope.
I'm smarticles. Anyway, getting back to the Super Bowl. I had a lot of issues with the Super Bowl. Not necessarily because of how the game ended, but for a large majority of the game, the referees were like, yep, we're just going to put our penalties, flags in our back pocket. We're going to put our whistles down, and we're just going to let them play.
Yeah.
And then it was like in the last 6 minutes or whatever, it was just like flag, 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 flag. And I'm like, what? Why are you changing up your style now?
Yeah, you're not the first person I've heard say this, Josh. I agree with you. They definitely changed up their philosophy on officiating in that last minute of the game. But I didn't have too much of a problem with it because I think in the postseason, you want to let them play a little bit. You want to let them be more physical than usual. But when it comes down to the red zone in the last minutes of the game, and it means, one team winning and one team losing, you're going to tighten up a little bit, and I think that that's what happened. They really wanted to let them play the whole game, but in moments that big, man, you have to take every little, play very seriously. So
I understand.
Let's actually go back to the first half. Let's go to the first half because there was a play where Jalen Ramsey, coming out of the first half, when Cincinnati threw the 75-yard touchdown. Yeah, Jalen Ramsey got thrown. That was an offensive pass interference. They swallowed the whistle. So no consistency.
Exactly. So if you're going to swallow the penalty, if you will, I don't know if that's necessarily the best phrasing, but whatever.
We'll go with it.
Yes.
Yeah,
if you're going to dismiss that penalty, don't throw multiple flags on what could be like the game deciding drive because I don't want to say the refs gave the Rams that game. I'm not about to sit here and insinuate, there was ref ball and the game was rigged and all that bullshit. I'm not saying that. But it's like, if you're not going to call something like the Jalen Ramsey play, which I agree was clearly a face mask, offensive pass interference, whatever. If you're not going to call that, don't call something ticky-tacky in the final minutes that could decide the freaking Super Bowl. No.
Yeah. Let me ask you this question. Do you guys, with the pass interference, the first one within a minute, did you all agree with that? because I kind of thought it was he touched him.
You mean the one on Cooper Kupp?
Yes.
No.
By the law of the book, but by the rules, the definition of the rules, he was touching him prior to the ball being in the air.
Yeah.
And once that happens, that's a pass interference, unfortunately. Now it was tacky. Like they didn't, sometimes they won't blow the whistle on it, but that was a penalty from what I've seen.
I'm with you here, Jay. It's like I'm with both of you in a way. I get what you're saying, Josh. You want consistency. If you're not going to call it on one team one play, you can't do it on the other team the next play. But by the rule of the game, that's a pass interference. I didn't have a problem with that flag being thrown.
I mean, the main reason I did is because I'm not accusing the referees of showing favoritism towards the Rams by any means, but if you start throwing flags on what turned out on a consistent basis like they did on what turned out to be the Rams' game-winning drive, it felt like there was a little bit of bias somehow. Again, I'm not formally accusing the referees of being biased towards the Rams or whatever, but you get what I'm saying somewhat?
It sounds like you are, but you won't.
I follow you.
I
see where you're trying to go. I see the direction you're trying to go in. Yeah. Did you guys like the halftime show?
I love the halftime show. I thought it was great.
I mean, I'm not fully into that type of music and all that, but I still appreciated it.
Yeah, I like that.
It was solid.
I think that festival vibe, with multiple big artists I think that's really cool. I think it fits the format well. When you only got 20 minutes to fit a show in there, it's not really the right format for long form music. It's perfect for hip hop where guys can go on and drop a verse and then they can cut to somebody else and they can do theirs. And I think it's good. It was a good format, and I think that they're going to repeat it. I think we're going to see more artists involved every year, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
it was for the culture, man. I think that they did a great job. There was no type of malfunctions that went on. A lot of the fans were, and I know sometimes we're in a prisoner of the moment, but they were saying how that was one of the greatest shows. Well, I don't think it's one of the greatest shows, but it absolutely was a milestone because that's the first time I've seen a hip hop act.
Yeah,
on the Super Bowl and the upside.
Yeah, I like the acts of defiance from the artists too. With Eminem taking a knee, even though he discussed with the NFL, they didn't want him doing that. They didn't want Snoop to have the blue flag for just wore an entire blue bandana for his outfit. I lost a bet. I lost a prop bet on that. I bet he was going to have blue tennis shoes on of his entire outfit. Because this was frustrating to me the entire night. It wasn't about football. It wasn't about X's and O's. It was about his tennis shoes. He had on an entire blue bandana fit, Crips. His shoes was all white. Yep.
It didn't even match his outfit. And I'm like, man, why couldn't you just throw on the blue tennis shoes so I could have win this money, man?
I know.
Like, what's up, Snoop? Come on, Unc. What's up, man? Cost some money on that.
I was upset with Mickey Guyton for going long on the national anthem. I had the I felt like she's a country artist. She's gonna stick close to the regular rendition, and she really stretched some of those those notes out, man. And so I lost myself a prop better too that night too.
What the heck was up with The Rock doing the team the introduction things at the beginning? That was so weird.
It was bizarre. It was bizarre. Yeah, it was bizarre.
Like, we had already done team introductions and all that, and they're about to kick it off, and it's like, oh, here's Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. It's like, wait, what? Where did that come from?
Yeah, it was a little out of place to me.
I'm sure he's probably responsible for getting the Super Bowl to the city for some reason. He's usually behind the scenes. I think he's one of the highest paid actors or highest grossing actors in Hollywood. So he got a lot of pull, and I would think they probably say, okay, man, we'll let you get on the show since you did a good act to get it here. So,
Right.
it was bizarre.
They had to make it LA somehow, and I think that was their way of just making it a Los Angeles Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Now to the X's and O's.
First of all,
What was your come away from it?
First of all, I loved that a non-quarterback won Super Bowl MVP. I will always have that gripe because it's full of bullshit that the wide receivers, running backs, and tight ends never get the love and respect that they deserve. So I loved that.
I don't even deserved it.
What?
I think Aaron Donald did. Oh yeah, Aaron Donald. And I remember last show, Bryan, you sold me on this. I'm like, you know what? I think I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna bet on Aaron Donald being MVP.
Yeah,
He disrupted the game. Like, if we really want to be candid about this, right? Cooper Kupp, prior to the last drive, he only had 47 yards or something.
he only finished.
He
with
didn't
9
have a
yards,
spectacular
so
game.
it wasn't as gaudy of numbers as he usually puts up, but he did have the 2 touchdowns. So
Yeah.
I didn't have a problem with them giving it to Kupp. I wish they gave it to Donald because I did. I put $5 on that Aaron Donald prop bet. That would have turned me out, at about $150. $5 bet. I was feeling the same way you were, Jay, but when I look at it objectively, I don't have a problem with it. Cooper Kupp had a great game, so.
And I will say this: I know the Rams ended up with 7 sacks, so the Bengals offensive line definitely needs some work. But early on, their offensive line was doing well against that Rams team. It didn't seem like Aaron Donald was really doing anything. At least, I would say,
to the melee.
Yeah, it took a while for the Rams pass attack to get going, but once they did, they were unstoppable.
Yeah,
and they came up big too. That. How many times have we seen Burrow with the ball in his hands, in a position like that, win a game, and the Rams defense, 3 and out, wasn't it? It was 3 and out, I believe, on that last drive.
It was.
Yeah, they put a, stamp on that game. And I think it's the Rams defense, not the Rams offense, that ended up being the ones that really won this game for them, which is kind of counter to how I saw it playing out. I thought it was going to be their offense that carried them through it, and the defense was going to make some flash plays, but really it was the defense that propelled them to victory in this game, and the offense just kind of barely did enough.
Yeah, the Bengals defense was doing well against the Rams offense. I was shocked by that.
The defensive line, especially,
that Cam Akers under, I did hit on that. He only had 20-something yards, 21 yards. So
yeah, way under.
They neutralized them. They defensive line, I was impressed because Cincinnati is not known for their defensive line this year, but they held their ground. They were able to neutralize the run game. Even on the pass game, they was able to get 2 interceptions off of Stafford. They kept him under 300. They did a solid job overall. Offensively, offensively was. Especially that final drive. I don't understand why Joe Mixon wasn't in the game.
Yeah, that part was confusing. And I don't know if you saw, but on that 4th down play, if Joe Burrow had 1 second more, Jamar Chase had just absolutely said bye-bye to Jalen Ramsey. Yeah. And if Burrow had a second more, the Bengals would be sitting here as Super Bowl champions. I don't know if you saw that, but although the Rams did their Super Bowl championship parade yesterday, the Bengals actually did like a celebration of their own.
Why?
Yeah.
For what?
That's weird.
What are they celebrating?
Getting to the Super Bowl and like how successful of a season they had. I don't know.
I don't know. We used to give trophies out for participation.
I was going to say the Browns have as many. We have as big a reason to celebrate as they do.
I don't know.
We won just as many rings as Cincinnati won this season.
We sure did. We tied up with them, and we swept them in the regular season. So
you are not going to get rid.
I'm not letting that go. I'm not letting that go. No, I'm not, because what I noticed was this. The biggest problem, again, we all agreed that it was the offensive line that was going to prevent the Bengals from being successful in the Super Bowl.
Although
Yeah,
I
we called that. We laid that out pretty plainly.
Yeah,
And
we went deep.
really
Yeah,
pushed
we
that one.
now, man, and I hate being this guy, and I swear I'm gonna let it. I would never bring this up again about the Browns. But who's to say our offensive line would have neutralized Aaron Donald on them? Because we had guys that could have made that happen. And like you said, if Burrow had about 1 second more, we having a different discussion. Because despite his offensive line's woes, he was still able to overcome that. So, and the play calling, I don't understand why, if it's 4th and 1, run the ball. Why you got to throw it? Why you got to go in shotgun? Why you got to, you putting
We saw
Aaron
a lot of
Donald? Yeah, it was bizarre to me, man.
Yeah, I will give you that. It was bizarre of Cincinnati to go for it early in the game the way they did, but I think they thought the Rams offense was going to come out and be extremely potent and put up like 30 plus points. And so here's my take on it. The Bengals thought, okay, we need to come out and be aggressive ourselves, because they probably thought they were going to have to go score for score with the Rams. So
it could have been a way. It was an important injury.
Yes,
But
I was
Odell,
about to say that.
had that not happened, yeah, it might have been an air out affair.
Yeah, OBJ was having himself a day. He scored the first touchdown of the game.
didn't you pick
he
that
was on pace
prospect too?
Yeah, I did. I had anytime touchdown, so he cashed that one out for me early. But he was on pace to be the MVP of that game, and the Rams offense looked a lot more potent with him in it. And once he had that injury, they stalled. So
It
yeah,
did, man.
I agree with you, Josh. The Bengals D did a really great job holding the Rams to 23 points. But I think a lot of that had to do with that OBJ injury. And had he stayed in the game, they may have opened it up and scored 31, 34 points.
Yeah.
That's the same knee.
I know. It was so hard to see.
Same thing.
I felt so
Yeah.
bad.
Overall, it was a lot lower scoring than I thought it was going to be, but it was still an exciting game. I mean, am I going to say it's one of the best Super Bowls of all time? No, but it was good still.
It was a good game.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it was like, in my opinion, Super Bowl 53 was the worst, one of, if not the worst Super Bowl of all time, with it being 13-3. So this was certainly not that.
Yeah. McVay
It wasn't. It was
that for a while though. He kept running the ball on 1st and 2nd down. It was run up the gut, 1st and 2nd down, and it was like, is he really trying to make this another 10-3 ball game? Because nobody wants to watch that.
But you know what? So the head coach for Cincinnati is from McVay's. He's from McVay's coaching staff, offensive staff rather. So I'm thinking he probably knew to play, like the selections, and that's probably why it was like a chess game.
Yeah, that's a good point, Jay.
Yeah, I would love to see them go for round 2 in Super Bowl 57 next year.
Oh, wait a second. This is the guy who all year has been talking about how he's so tired of it.
That did sound familiar.
And now you're saying you want the LA Rams and the Cincinnati Bengals in a rematch.
Where's the parody at?
I just said that just to get your pure reaction.
Now, do you guys think that with Odell being so successful after landing with the Rams, because this is actually going into our next topic, which is the rumors that we're hearing out of Berea, was this a slap in the face, or was this more of a proving or validating that Baker Mayfield simply ain't the guy for Cleveland?
This is simply a told you situation, because I have said this from the very beginning. Baker Mayfield is consistently inconsistent. I hate that he's in all these stupid progressive commercials because it's like, stop doing all these progressive commercials. I think you have more progressive commercials than you have fucking touchdowns, for crying out loud. Like,
get in the film room.
like stop filming progressive commercials where it's like, hey, here's the password, 6. It's like, okay, hey, number 6, go throw it to Jarvis Landry. Go throw it to Rashard Higgins. Throw it to Austin Hooper, David Njoku, Harrison Bryan. Maybe throw it to Nick Chubb on a running back screen. I don't freaking know. Can you
just don't throw it to the other team?
I mean, I know I just went on a rant, but
yeah,
we needed
Super Bowl shined a big fat light on Baker Mayfield, and anybody who wants to pretend like it didn't is lying to themselves.
Yep.
So what do we do?
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I think so. I think you got to move on, but at this point, it's like, Cousins looks like he's going to be staying in Minnesota now with that hiring of Kevin O'Connell. So I don't think Kevin O'Connell's going to go in there and want to move Kirk Cousins. So I think he's staying there.
Derek Carr is not leaving the Raiders now that they have Josh.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Right.
True.
Jimmy G still out there on the table.
Nah.
I don't want Deshaun Watson. I know what type of quarterback he is, but I just don't want, even if all these allegations and stuff get figured out, I still don't want all the baggage and drama. I don't want that type of stuff. No thanks.
I just want to win, honestly. I
just want to win, baby.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
I think that I got a wish list. Okay, I got a top 3 wish list. Deshaun Watson, of course, is at the top of that list. Second, there's a lot of problems, a lot of drama going on in Arizona. And, hey, it just seemed like, if he's unhappy and we're unhappy with our situation, because he's more athletic. Now we can do those RPOs. He makes smarter decisions than Baker do.
He's better than Baker.
He's better than Baker.
I don't know if we want to go from one short Oklahoma quarterback to another short Oklahoma quarterback. We kind of have played that experiment out a little bit with Baker. But I agree with you, though. I would 100% rather have Kyler Murray starting than Baker Mayfield. So,
but this leads me to my I was going to say, this leads me to my final of my wish list.
Oh, I think
hear me out. Hear me out before, because it's going to create a lot of ruckus. Carson Wentz. Now, before you start, because I know you're ready. Let's look at the
Give him a chance, Josh. At least hear what he has to say about it.
Just hear my sales pitch. He had a great season last year. He threw for over 3,600 yards. He had 22 touchdowns and 7 picks. He, despite the bonehead plays he make them. I'm not even gonna front. He do some weird, like, why are you doing that? Just slide. But he's tall. He's athletic. He could play in the AFC North. It's rumors that the Colts are probably going to go part ways with him. He's an upgrade over Baker.
Now, to me, that feels like a little bit more of a lateral move. I think
so?
He's about, I put him about on the same tier as Baker. But he definitely had better moments last year than Baker had. Because there were a couple games where Wentz, you're right, Jay, he put up some good numbers. He didn't turn the ball over, and they won the game. And let's be honest, for a while, we thought the Colts were going to waltz their way into the postseason before they kind of hit that brick wall at the end of the year. So I get where you're coming from, but I'm gonna pass on the Carson Wentz.
Nicely passed.
Yeah, I'll just pass politely on that one.
I think I made my feelings quite known when you brought up the name Carson. That guy. He doesn't even deserve to have his name said because he's not good. He not good. Sorry, but he not good.
Ouch.
I want Kenny Pickett. I'd say if we're not going to be able to get one of the top free agents, if we can't pull a guy like Rodgers or a guy like Russell Wilson or somebody who can really change the franchise, then let's go all in. Let's, draft another, big quarterback and start over.
Yeah. I thought
Just
after
worth a try.
you said Kyler and the way you were setting things up, I thought you were about to say Russell Wilson.
Yeah, it just don't feel like that Seattle's gonna part ways with him. At first, I thought he was unhappy there, and the organization was unhappy with him. But it just seemed like that's starting to become a wish versus the realistic chances, which is either being able to land Kyler, either being able to land Deshaun Watson, or my guy. And I know I know he's turnover prone, but he's changed that around. Our offense is designed for him not to throw turnovers. It just simply is. And he can run the ball, man. So I understand, man. It's a lot. Anytime I even mention that, I get shot down, but it was worth a try.
Absolutely not.
Well, I mean, I think this speaks volumes about the magnitude of the problem that Cleveland has at the quarterback position. I mean, like when you're starting to throw out names like that and doing research and trying to justify like who, and honestly, everybody you've mentioned is better than Baker. So
I don't know if Carson Wentz is totally better than Baker.
He's better than him for sure. He
got
the better attributes.
You're gonna have to convince me on that one because I don't fully see.
He's definitely physically better than Baker. He's built better than Baker. He's not.
He got more upside. Right. He's still young. He's still young, man.
Yeah, he's for a veteran in the league. He's not that old. You're right, especially for a quarterback.
Yeah, but here's the thing: we saw how his career finished in Philadelphia, and then he went to the Colts where he was paired up with Frank Reich, who everybody was saying, "Oh, he's back with Frank Reich where he had his best season and all this and that," and
that was true though.
It didn't work out. It ended up not working out for the Colts.
Yeah. Well, we saw how, part of the problem here is that like everybody's looking at how good the Jared Goff swap went for the Rams right now. And I think that like everybody's kind of going with some recency bias and assuming that like everybody can make that happen now. Like, it's not easy to go out and get a Matt Stafford like LA did last year. Like he was a diamond in the rough. It was just the perfect situation for them to get him. I don't think there's a Matt Stafford out there for the Browns right now. And that's what part of the problem is that like there's really no clear cut number one option. And that's why we're throwing all these names out there because we have to. We've got to explore all options right now.
Yeah.
Kid from Houston.
Again, if Deshaun Watson didn't have all this legal stuff, I would say, yeah, I do want him, but I just don't want all that drama and the legal situation. I just don't want that stuff.
Even if it resulted in a Super Bowl, though. That's the thing, man. You got to sacrifice.
You had to tug on that string.
I mean, if we're talking because of character issues and distractions, there's some guys on the Browns roster right now that have serious character issues and have done some less than holy things that we could make argument they shouldn't be on the roster,
Yeah. I mean, Bryan, I've told you this before, like character traits and all that are an important thing to me. So
that's what I was saying, Jay. Like guys like that, it's like if you're not okay with a guy like Deshaun Watson, you gotta
he ain't even been charged yet.
Right. When you gotta be careful where you draw the line because what's okay for one guy, it's
Jimmy Haslam.
Yeah.
Shoot,
man. All the stuff that guy's, been involved in and all of the scandals that surround, his family name. So
it's just all about sacrifices, man. Everybody's not perfect, but if you have that guy, you can't tell me that the Browns, if we had Deshaun Watson, you can't tell me that we weren't playing the Rams. And not only was we not playing them, we probably routed them. Because we neutralized their offensive line, took care of the defensive line. Deshaun Watson when it came down to making that play, he's gonna make it.
Yeah, man, it's tough to say now too because we've got so many question marks at all these other positions too. It's like how much are you willing to give up to go out and get a guy at quarterback? Because we've got guys like Jarvis Landry and some veteran players that they're going to have to either they're either going to have to pay and extend them or they're going to have to move on from them. And
I think Jarvis might move on.
That's why I kind of considered like, okay, maybe we do it through the draft because we really don't have the assets to ship off for a guy right now.
Right. I hate to say this, but I think the Browns' contending window is already closed.
It's closing. Yeah.
I think
you got about 1-2 years left.
No.
As long as you got a guy like Myles Garrett on the defensive side of the ball, and you've got a good offensive line, like you can make things happen in the NFL.
And they like their offensive line down for like 3-4 more years, so that's in place.
I mean, I know we have a strong running game with Nick Chubb and Dearness Johnson because I think Kareem Hunt is probably going to be gone.
He's under contract, I think.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns cut him or tried to trade him, something like that, because I'm actually going to take this point from what James says on So What's the Catch, and I started to agree with him. Watching the Browns on the field, Chubb and Dearness Johnson fit what the Browns want to do offensively, but I don't know if Kareem Hunt does in terms of that running game.
He fit. Oh, man, he fit. We got to understand. Yeah, he's been injured, but, man, goal line specifically, they was always able to throw to him on them out routes or on the slant. Like, he can catch like a receiver. He's tough. And you will never see him get stopped for negative yardage. He's still got a lot left in the tank. And he's still one of the premier running backs in the league. So he fits in this offense for damn sure.
I think we can make him fit, but I don't think the way we used him, we weren't getting the most out of Kareem Hunt. I think that there are better ways to use them than that we have in the past. But I agree with Josh on the point. I do think Dearness Johnson is a better fit schematically for what we're doing.
Yeah, that's what I was going for.
But I also agree with Jay that like Kareem Hunt gives you more options. There's more. He's a more versatile player. But it depends. If we're going to continue with the offense that we're running, Dearness Johnson's a better fit. But if we're going to changes and bring in a new quarterback, it might be worth hanging on to Kareem Hunt.
Johnson, he's the biggest trade chip that we would have if we wanted to. So you say, let's say if we were to trade Hunt or him, you probably could get more for Johnson because he's younger. He has more of an upside to him, and he doesn't have that much baggage. But we got 3 running backs. Unfortunately, one of them had to go, and it ain't going to be Chubb. So,
yeah, I just think that, with Johnson, you're paying him a lot less than you're paying Hunt, too. And that's the other reason I think the Browns will be more inclined to stay with Johnson and Hunt.
Right. So, if we do end up drafting another quarterback, let's say Kenny Pickett, for example, do you think there's a possibility that Stefanski could be put on the hot seat as a result?
I think he's already kind of on the hot seat after this season. Coming off winning the Coach of the Year in the NFL, like there were a lot of moments where people were kind of scratching their head at some of the decisions that he's made, and I don't think the way that he handled the Baker Mayfield and the Odell Beckham Jr. situation was all that great. So there's a lot of question marks. It's how much of that 10-6 or 11-5 season was an anomaly. A lot of those were close games and could have went the other way. So yeah, I kind of think that he's already a little bit on the hot seat, and so I think this is a very important year for him. And if they're going to draft a quarterback, it better be somebody who's ready to come in and win now.
Right.
And that's the reason why the drafting the quarterback, right? It just feel like that's throwing a flag in to say we rebuilding now. And that's why I think we kind of got to we have to either go through free agency or trade. But I don't think none of these quarterbacks can help our problem from what I've seen. And I watched film on it
recently, though, like with guys like guys like Joe Burrow, coming in only in his second real year in the league, having that early success and Guys like
first
Patrick
full
Mahomes had early success. So, like, guys are having success younger in their careers at quarterback. It's not like when Aaron Rodgers got drafted where you wait 3 or 4 years. So, yeah, if you get one of the top guys, I think you can start them now, and it's not a rebuild. But I agree with you, Jason. If it's anybody that's below the first round, it's a rebuild, you know. So it better be the best guy. If you're going to go for it, you better go for the best guy in the draft.
If you get Deshaun Watson, and I'm gonna leave it alone after this, but if you used to get Deshaun Watson, we instantly have the best quarterback in our division.
Oh,
And I'll leave that there. I'll leave that there.
I'd say Burrow better.
Yeah, I would say Joe Burrow.
As of right now, just without Watson being on the field recently. But if he comes in and plays like he was before all this stuff happened, then there's a good argument there.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
He's definitely a top 5 quarterback when he's healthy and he's in the league.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Clutch.
100%. Like, he's shown how well he can play. He bailed out Bill O'Brien.
Look how bad he was without him, too, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think we got we get him, we make that move, we have the best quarterback in our division. We get Kyler, we probably got the second best. Just saying.
If we get Carson Wentz, we have.
If we get Carson
Wentz, we have. Depending on what the Steelers do, we have either the third or the fourth best quarterback in the division.
Now we're playing, but don't let the Steelers get him.
I think the Steelers get Garoppolo for some reason. I just think that's going to be where Garoppolo lands.
I would hope they do because they get Wentz, we're doomed.
Ooh.
Next topic.
I don't want to letting you off the hook with that one.
Man, they get Wentz. Wentz will fit their whole like. I don't want to see Wentz.
Now I need an explanation.
Not quite.
I'm not letting you off the hook.
Because no, I understand, and I deserve it, rightfully so. Again, his body style, his prototype, he's fast. He is what you are trying to get a quarterback or the ideal prototype quarterback for the AFC North. That's him. And he's tough. Now, do he make the smartest decisions? Hell no, he doesn't. I get that. Right. But he's tough, and he always gives a full effort. I just don't want the Steelers to get him.
He's also injury prone, though. You know, the guy's made of glass. He's never played a full season in his career. That's like part of the problem with Wentz, too, that scares me.
Yeah. He's like that character from SpongeBob where he looks like a freaking mummy and it's like, I have glass bones. You know which character I'm talking about.
Sure, of course we do.
Okay.
I'm not hip to SpongeBob, but I feel you.
Well, we want to get to the NBA quick before we run out of time here. Yes,
sir.
So Cavs really hit a speed bump their last couple games, headed into the All-Star break. Yeah, they've just been I don't know what it is with this team and giving up early leads and having these terrible defensive efforts in the first quarter, but it's starting to come back to bite them. The 76ers had 36 in the first quarter. The Hawks had 34 in the first quarter.
Trae Young killed us.
Before that, the Spurs had 30 points in the first quarter. We ended up winning that game, but even the Pacers, they gave up 27 to them in the first quarter. We're down 27-12. So defensively have been like really bad for the first quarter coming out of the gate in these games. But I think that the All-Star break's coming at the right time for us because, thanks, Josh.
That guy.
Yeah, cool.
The kids, though.
You were talking about, or did you not hear any of it?
No, I heard 100% what you were talking about. Actually,
well, what's your thought?
You're 100% right, and it's concerning considering when you look at the month of March, we're basically only playing contenders. Like when I look at their schedule for the month of March, the only two non-playoff teams we face are Detroit and Orlando. Other than that, you got Charlotte, Philadelphia. Well, actually, no. Indiana is also a non-playoff team. So you got But for the playoff teams, you got Charlotte, Philadelphia, Toronto, Miami, Chicago, Clippers, 76ers again, Nuggets, Lakers, at Raptors, Bulls, Mavericks, and then the Hawks.
Nice. Yeah, it's about to get tough, man.
That's what I've been trying to tell you. The real NBA season starts after the All-Star break, man. Especially for this Cavs team. We're going to learn a lot about them in March.
Yeah.
And we're starting to learn it. Well, we're not learning. We're just being reminded about the youthfulness. I think part of the reason why these teams are coming out the gate scoring on us, it takes kids a while to understand and get it and know the severity of certain situations because they have to experience it. And I believe that once they've, kind of get a feel for the team, they're able to adapt to it. And then by fourth quarter, the team we're going against probably shooting close to like 30% or so because they ramp it up. But the kids, and this is part of the growing pains.
Yeah. I will say this. Did I get a little overhyped on them at the beginning? Maybe a little bit, yeah. Let me just say this. I never predicted them to go to the NBA Finals or go to the Eastern Conference Finals. Obviously, I'm not that crazy. They're not ready for that yet. Do I think they're going to stay in the top 3 of the Eastern Conference? No, not with how Philadelphia is going to eventually look with James Harden. Not with how Brooklyn is going to eventually look with Ben Simmons. Miami isn't going anywhere. But do I think the Cavs can stay in that top 6 and avoid the play-in tournament? Yeah. But that doesn't mean... Huh?
I was going to say, who you think got the best of the trade with the James Harden, Ben Simmons swap?
Brooklyn by a landslide. Because they got Simmons, who he doesn't have to be a scorer now that he's with part-timer Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant when he does get back. And then they got another shooter out there in Seth Curry. He's a Curry, so he can shoot. And then they picked up much-needed size in Andre and Drummond.
I think both teams won the trade in their own way, but to me, it's Philadelphia. I disagree with you. I think getting James Harden is a way bigger addition because Ben Simmons was already out for them. He hasn't contributed to that team this season at all. So, they got better overnight immediately by adding a guy like James Harden. Whereas, the Brooklyn Nets, it's going to take a while for Simmons to gel over there and fit into that system. And, we haven't seen what he's, capable of yet coming in cold. He's been not playing for how long. So to me, I disagree. I do think that the Nets got better. I think it's a good situation for them. But I think that Philadelphia wins the trade when they added Harden. In my opinion.
I thought they did too. At first I did, but from my show, Man Analytics as Usual, one of the hosts, P, he kind of sold me on the Nets winning, and what he was able to basically indicate was they filled all their holes. They filled their size hole.
What I just said.
Spot up shooter. Yep. Simmons is gonna be Simmons, so just need him to dribble and facilitate. But you got whenever Kyrie plays, and it seemed like Adam Silver is starting to, the league might adapt their rules for New York, but that's another discussion. But
right,
it seemed like the Nets got a more complete team now than the Sixers do. Now Sixers is on a whole nother level because Embiid, man, I mean, when we went against them, we got 7-foot guys, but he's like a real 7-foot guy. And you seen the discrepancy between our 7-foot dudes and him. So it seems like the Nets might have got the end of the better end of that bargain.
And here's the other thing, Brian, that with why I further think Brooklyn won this trade. Think about it on the defensive end. Ben Simmons who can Ben Simmons guard for Philadelphia? He can take Tobias Harris. He can take James Harden. When Philadelphia or when Brooklyn goes up against Milwaukee, Giannis is 6'11". Guess what? Ben Simmons is 6'10", so he can guard.
He don't want
Giannis.
that smoke. He
He
don't
can
want
guard
that smoke. We gotta. I feel you.
He can guard Giannis to an extent.
Yeah.
You know, when they go up against Miami, Ben Simmons can take a Tyler Hero, a Jimmy Butler. He might even be able to match up with a Bam Adebayo. So I think Brooklyn became the addition of Ben Simmons. Again, he might not be a scorer necessarily because we've seen like how afraid he is to shoot the damn basketball. But he's versatile on defense. You can play him 1 through 4 essentially.
I agree with you there. He's definitely, night and day better defender than James Harden. Harden basically gives you nothing on the defensive end. So,
Exactly.
yeah, I agree with you there. I think the Nets got better this trade. You know, I'm not saying that the Nets lost the trade or giving them a bad grade on the trade. I just think that James Harden is still one of the best players. I mean, to me, he's a top 75 NBA guy to me, like James Harden. And I think when you're a team like Philly who's not getting any production whatsoever out of Ben Simmons, you know, to me, they added more than the Nets added, you know. But they both won the trade. So I'm with you, Josh. I think they got a lot better. They definitely shored up some holes. And I think come postseason time, the Nets are built way better to make a run now than they were before the move.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
So we got All-Star game here, and I'm actually going to be at a large majority of All-Star game stuff.
Bastard.
I'm going to be at Rising Stars, and then All-Star Saturday night. And then, Bryan, you and I are going to be at the Charge G League Ignite game on Sunday.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
You'll be there also.
Who's in the dunk contest this year?
It's Cole.
Yeah, I'm gonna be working.
It's Cole Anthony of the Orlando Magic, and I don't remember who the other participants are. Now, let me look.
Cole Anthony might win that.
Yeah.
They should have. John Morant should have. I don't see why he shouldn't. Why you got that? Once you under your first couple of years, get it out the way. Like Jordan did.
I wish more people want.
Dominique, get it right. The job.
Okay.
But then it's like the creativity.
Yeah.
It ran out. Like, what all can you do?
So it's Jalen Green, Obi Toppin, Juan Toscano Anderson, and Cole Anthony.
I changed my answer. Jalen Green might get that one.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys this. What would you think about because there's a lot of good dunkers out there not in the NBA. Like, what do you think about like trying to spice up the dunk contest by doing like pros versus non-NBA players? I don't know if you guys follow any of the dunkers on YouTube, like Jordan Kilgannon. Like that guy can jump out of the freaking gym. Like, I think it would be cool to bring in some like non-pros, or and one guys even, you know, people that
I remember that one.
With the dunk. Just something to inspire more creativity out of these pros, because like you said, Jason, like everything's been done, it seems like. But if you go on YouTube and you look up some of these dunkers, man, they're doing some crazy stuff. Like they're getting real creative. I mean, that's his full-time job. The guy dunks for a living. He travels the country doing dunk contests, you know.
It's kids, it's high schoolers that could probably win a dunk. Like it's just
that's what I mean.
Crazy.
Like
it's crazy.
Elevate the level of play in the dunk contest. You know, I think it would get more out of the pros, because you don't want to be an NBA guy and get showed up by some high schooler, you know, and there's people out there that can really dunk that aren't in the pros. So, that's just an idea I had that I thought maybe could make it a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
Like they're trying with the skills competition, doing the 3 teams, the Antetokounmpos and the Cleveland Cavs, and then the Young Guns, whatever the last team is.
Yeah. I mean, I like your idea with the NBA guys versus the non-NBA guys, like getting some guys that play like street basketball or whatever. I mean, like the bar's been been set high, but yeah, it has been. I mean, we remember the battle like Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon had, where I think Aaron Gordon got
Aaron Gordon got robbed. I think that was the best.
Yeah.
I still think his performance was the best like overall performance in any dunk contest since like Dominique Wilkins. Man. Like,
Yeah.
Really? Either Vince Carter?
well, yeah, Vince is up there too, but yeah, Aaron Gordon did some crazy stuff
He
when he
did,
took
though.
over the mascot and went under his legs. I mean,
Yeah,
that was
I'm
unreal.
Yeah, I couldn't remember at first who won and who lost that, but I remembered one of them got robbed.
Yeah, Gordon got robbed.
Yeah,
But
100%.
even like the Dwight Howard and Nate Robinson little rivalry, that was a great rivalry. In the
That's when the propaganda first rises from that one. Like all the props and that's when I think it went down the tubes after that.
It was hilarious when Dwight Howard came out dressed as Superman. He didn't even dunk the ball. He just threw it in.
Through it, yeah. It was cheap. Yeah. It's just,
Well, boys,
but you know,
I got to get out of here. I got about 1 minute left. You're welcome to go long if you guys don't got anywhere to be. But I just wanted to real quick, any last thoughts headed into All-Star Weekend? Anything you want to see from our Cavs players, or what are you hoping to see, Josh? Well, over the weekend.
I want the Cavs players that are in it to show like, hey, we're actually here. Like, you guys, I know the All-Star game and stuff is made more to be fun and all that. I still don't know if the rest of the league is taking the Cavs seriously. So I want them to go out and perform and be like, yeah, hey, we're actually here.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to play us type thing.
Yeah, I agree. I'd like to see intensity out of the Cavs players, just to take it a little more seriously than they would take a typical All-Star game, having it be right here in Cleveland. So
exactly.
Yeah,
Darius Garland, get that MVP, baby. Do it for the home team. That's it, baby.
Or Jared Allen.
Or Jared Allen.
Yeah, either way.
Co-MVPs.
So next week we will be back at our normal time, 12:30 p.m. So from 12:30 to 1:30 next week, you
on
can
Thursdays.
On Thursday on the Sports Generals.
Yes.
But yeah, with that, that's all I got. Rooting for all the Cavs guys, hoping everybody gets through the weekend healthy. Gosh, no injuries from this All-Star week.
Let's go, y'all.
But yeah, I hope you guys have a good weekend, man. Good to be here with y'all as always.
Y'all too, y'all. Peace. Be safe.
Yeah.